The opinions expressed on this program are those of the program host and guest and are not necessarily those of this station, management, staff, and sponsors. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. It's time now for the Crown Car Care Show. Call in with questions and comments, 220-9788, 220-WSTU. Now, here's your host.
Beware the Ides of March.
Yeah. Beware of winter weather.
It's 4 days after the Ides of March, March
Yes.
15th, which was my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, belated.
Yeah, I
Yes.
turned 41.
Very good. I got a couple of years on you.
Yeah. Except that if I use that math, things don't add up.
No.
I've been around too long. I think there's a missing 20 years.
Yeah, it's only a number.
It's only a number.
Yeah.
It's how you feel.
That's it.
That's right.
I feel like I'm 25 most of the time.
Well, today is March 19th, 2025, and
Mhm.
another humid-free day
Yes.
in Martin County. And this is the Crown Car Care Radio Hour presented by Crown Car Care.
Yeah.
2 full-service maintenance and repair facilities, one on Cove Road in Stewart and one in Palm City on the corner of 42nd Street and Martin Highway. We've been around for quite a while, 21, 22 years. We're the trusted source for all your automotive needs, repairs, and maintenance right here in Martin County. Give us a call. Ask any kind of question. Come in for an oil change. Come in for a used car inspection. Come in if your car's making a noise. Either one of our locations can help you. Chris in Palm City or Kelly and Cody at Cove Road. We have quite the staff in the front. Years of experience serving people, serving our customers at Crown Car Care.
All right.
Well, and today is just a beautiful day here in South Florida. There's didn't see many clouds. I saw no humidity, felt no humidity. And when I parked my car and walked in, it was just a beautiful, beautiful day.
Yes.
Of course, I had to wade through all the people trying to get in. But we have limited seats here at World Headquarters, and there's always a wait to get in to see if they can get tickets for the sound stage.
I like the bubble glass outside, that faces our studio. And then we got, of course, people that amble on by and watch us while
A couple people
working.
asked me, wanted me to sign their T-shirts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just put
Nice.
click and clack.
There it is.
Yeah.
Why not?
So what say you, Frank? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Still remodeling my place down
Are you
south.
still hitting the gym 2-3 times a week? I know
So
Big Frank.
Yeah, yes, I am still hitting the gym. Yes.
That goes well, it shows.
Yes, thank you. So
Any heavy lifting, you just put Frank up to it.
I'm still ambulatory, so that's half the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got quite an operation here. Frank has completely remodeled the World Headquarters. He's painted it. He's put flooring in. They're talking about wallpaper.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like you to do it.
Yes, we have some skills.
Yeah, you've done
We can-
plenty of paper
We
hanging.
can do an episode about how to hang wallpaper.
Yeah,
It's
it's easy.
Oh, yeah.
Just cut it with scissors and just start anywhere.
Scissors.
Right.
Woo.
Get a double roll. Put the wheat paste on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wheat paste. Food for
You
bugs.
could eat it. It's actually
Yes.
yeah.
Yummy.
We always used the wallpaper that had the paste already attached to it.
Yeah, that's nitrocellulose, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone didn't know, Frank is a paint expert as well as a wallpaper expert. He
Yeah.
was many years. In fact, right here at World Headquarters, he owned a couple city blocks here. He
No,
was
it's half a
real
block.
estate tycoon. He had half the buildings in Stewart. He was leasing them out. Yeah.
Yes, that
He'd
was
drive around every month in his big old car and he'd collect the
Yeah.
rent checks
with the cigar.
and the cigar and then right to the bank.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You had the restaurant, you had the beauty salon, you had the apartment
Mhm.
complex.
Mhm.
You were busy.
Yes.
Yeah, busy.
Chiropractor office.
Yeah,
next to-
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in my shop. Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, I had nothing going on.
Did you ever have anyone stiffy on rent?
So a few people tried, few succeeded.
But
Yeah.
they don't call him Big Frank.
It's all about having good contracts.
good contracts and able to enforce them.
Yes.
Because contracts are only worth the weight in paper until you enforce them.
Yeah.
But if you've got someone that can enforce them, like Frank,
Yeah,
look out.
Look
Look out. Whatever it says, they do.
Yeah.
Believe me. So that's where we're sitting right here.
So-
It's just a beautiful place.
Beautiful
It's so light and
downtown
bright in
Stewart.
here.
Yes.
Feels more airy.
Mhm.
And just a good day to be alive to talk about cars. In fact, we have quite an episode today. We're going to be
Mhm.
talking about direct injection. We're going to spend a lot of time in the next couple of weeks talking about maintenance.
Yes.
And here's what's changed in the world. Cars have always been expensive.
Right.
Car repairs have always been expensive, but it's gotten to the point now where it's probably well, if you bought your home quite a few years ago, it may be a bigger investment than your home. And I
Mhm.
will tell you the best secret I can give you is maintain it
Mhm.
and maintain it more frequent than the manufacturer tells you to on
Mhm.
all the liquids.
Yes.
And I can't guarantee you'll be trouble-free, but I'm going to tell you, you're going to get a head start on everybody else
If
by
anything,
doing that.
you'll be more worry-free.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
yes.
and in the process of doing that maintenance, you get a closer inspection of everything. And at Crown Car
Mhm.
Care, either one of our locations,
Mhm.
we are very, very good. We have the people that do our oil changes, Chris and Roland and Max, all qualified. They love their job. They care about it, and they're actually going to check things on your vehicle per the manufacturer.
Mhm.
And we put the right fluids in, the right oils, the right liquids. We know how to check everything.
Yeah.
And we do that with the oil changes.
Yeah.
And unlike most places, it's just to dump the oil and put the new oil in.
Right.
We spend the time to check everything for you because it's our only way to look your car over. Back in 1970, every time you filled up with fuel,
Yeah.
the attendant, gas station attendant,
Mhm.
would check all your fluids and
Mhm.
the general check over of your vehicle. Well, that doesn't happen anymore.
No.
So the only way that you're going to get your vehicle looked at is if you bring it to a reputable place for oil changes and maintenance. And I'm going to tell you, Crown Car Care, with the 2 locations that we have, we're number 1.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Absolutely.
Clearly.
Oh,
and we do a good job. Look at
Yeah.
our reviews, and we would love to have you as our customer. And it'll be a relationship that you won't regret. You'll really look forward to going into our businesses, and you'll look forward to meeting everybody.
Mhm.
In fact, if you like cichlids and fish, I have a big fish tank over at Cove Road that a lot of people like to come and look at.
Well, sure. Might as well get some,
Yeah.
aqua entertainment while you're getting your car properly serviced.
And we just remodeled
Yes.
the bathroom over there, and we
Mhm.
remodeled the office next to the showroom.
Mhm.
Be glad to show it to you. It's just great.
Mhm.
Everything's clicking. Our bushes are trimmed. We keep our concrete in the front all pressure washed at all times. Everything's clean. The windows are clean. We care about everything. Our shop's organized and clean, both locations.
That's him.
And with that kind of cooperation from everyone that works with us to keep our place tip top, that's how we would keep your car.
Right.
So give us a shot.
That's-
772-781-8000 is our phone number in Palm City.
Mhm.
And over at Cove Road, it's area code 772. Again, it's 283-4707. And ask for Kelly.
Yeah.
She is dynamite.
Nice.
She's very knowledgeable.
Mhm.
In fact, she grew up in the industry. Her parents owned a repair shop
Ah.
from Michigan. She's from Michigan.
Oh, very
Yeah,
good.
well, I don't know if that's good or bad. It's good.
It's probably good if especially if she's a Detroit Tiger fan.
Well, I've heard that
Yes.
Detroit Tigers are going to the World Series this year.
Well, before the game 1 of the
Well, I've
the
read that they've
season.
got a secret pitching coach that they've pulled from retirement
Yeah.
that used to play for him and is giving them all
Yeah.
kinds of tips on how to do them
Yeah.
sliders.
Oh yeah.
His
Yeah.
name's Big Frank.
I don't.
We're
think
going to
they-
have an episode about your baseball
Oh my god.
shenanigans because you played ball with them. I've
I
got
did.
pictures to prove it.
Yes. Yeah. It was a lot of fun, but that was over 20 years ago. now.
Sure it was,
Yeah.
but it's just like yesterday.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Baseball's the American pastime.
It is.
I used to listen
It's-
to Jack Brickhouse.
I was
Chicago Cubs.
talking to the guy the other day, was cutting my hair, and I says, for me, it's probably the purest of all the sports.
It is.
Yeah.
And you listened to the kid announce, and now
Yes.
you used to,
Yeah.
Greg.
I ended up working for him.
The
Yes.
kid.
Yes, the
that-
kid.
That was his name. And who gave him that nickname? It was
Ernie Harwell.
Ernie Harwell.
Yeah.
Interesting stories.
Yes.
And the fact that you listened to the game that he did.
Yeah. In Los Angeles at the time. Yeah. I mean, what
Yeah.
are the odds? I mean, it's like, wow.
Well,
Yeah. It was just
just
meant
God
to be.
has a way to work things in.
Yeah. It's just
So
meant
everything.
to be. Yeah.
So we're
yeah.
going to talk about direct injection. We're going to have an episode of Click and Clack, and we'll talk
Mhm.
about that. We'll talk about the history of Crown Car Care, and then we could do it next if you wanted, if we choose to. But world news, we'll talk about the EPA and Stellantis. So we have quite a show for it.
We do.
So don't go anywhere.
Yes.
As you know, it's always exciting. We don't have any guests with us like we did last week. So you just got Frank and I,
Yes.
which is plenty,
Yeah.
right?
It's
Plenty.
Wall to wall.
You got anything news for me, Frankie, in the world
Yeah.
of automotive?
Yes. there's a
Sure,
few
hit me
things.
up with some good news.
Well, the biggest thing, I guess, right now, because everybody's talking about that, is the Fed is leaving interest rates unchanged. And the dealers say that the high rates are still a problem for the automotive industry. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what the bigger problem is. It's not the rates, it's the price of these things. They're
Well-
overpriced. They're gouging the market. I'll tell you right now.
So I think the thinking is, and of course, the Automotive News, which is my source for this information, is mostly a publication written for the dealers.
Yes.
So, for keeping that in mind, dealers don't mind the high prices. They just want to make it so that they can come up with a price point that you can live with per month.
I know, but
That's-
you'd be
that's-
paying
I mean,
forever, man.
That's
You'd be paying.
I know.
You'd be living as long
What
as
is it?
Noah did, 400 years to get that
Yes.
thing paid off.
60 months now, isn't it? An average loan is about.
I don't know.
I think 60
I own my
months now.
cars,
Yeah,
but that's.
yeah. I mean,
I'm also older, and
right.
you know, there's a cycle of life that you go through when you're younger. Obviously, you have payments, or when you're older, you have payments, and they can be steep. I'm telling you, if you
Yeah.
buy a $75,000 car, your payment's going to be about $800 a month.
Sure.
That's a lot of money.
You betcha. A lot of beans.
That's
Yeah.
why you need to take care of these things
Mhm,
when you
mhm,
buy it.
Mhm,
Not only changing the oil more frequently than you should,
mhm.
you should be doing the cooling system. And we'll talk about the direct injection system and the maintenance that's required
Mhm,
on these,
mhm.
or else bad things happen.
Right.
And
Okay. The last item I'll mention before we move on is the 2025 VW Tiguan compact crossover. Pricing starts at 30,920. Sounds like almost 31,000. That's the starting price.
that's
And you-
before fees and before tax.
and all the little add-ons that you
Oh,
would like to have.
Etched glass, super wax combo deal,
And the rims.
curb feelers.
Yeah. Curb feelers.
Remember curb feelers?
I haven't heard that in
Yeah,
years.
I once said a curb feelers.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So you
Those-
know when you're getting close.
Right?
Right? That's why you do it.
Yes.
I saw it on this car. It was called Superfly.
See, my curb feeler is my wife. If she yells loud enough, I know that I'm getting too close to the other car.
Well, one of my favorite cars
Or
is
the curb.
in the movie Superfly.
Yeah.
Superfly.
Superfly.
Yeah, it's a
that's-
big Cadillac with like a Rolls Royce front end with
Oh,
big
yeah.
headlights and curb feelers
Yes.
and furry carpet.
Oh, and the fuzzy dice.
Oh, of
You
course.
Gotta have that.
Yeah, El Dorado. Isn't that what you drove when you were the landlord?
No.
Oh,
No. No.
with the big long roof.
I had a GMC Safari.
Yep.
That was I mean, I love that because the seats were removable.
Yeah.
And I could get a
There's good vehicles.
4x8 sheet of plywood in there, no problem.
Yep.
All
Had a
under
V6 in them, and they were quite
yes,
good.
all under roof. Yep.
Now, you also had a Chevette, didn't you?
I had a Chevy Chevette.
What color was it?
It was a light blue. It's kind of robin's egg.
Was it
blue.
trouble free? I mean, pretty decent.
Yeah, yeah. It really was a fine car. I mean,
Good
it-
mileage.
it-
It got good gas.
good mileage, although it never achieved the mileage that
What was it claimed, and what did you get?
44 is what they thought they
That's
said.
a lot.
But I think 36 was the best I ever got.
Oh,
You
okay.
know,
That's pretty decent.
right?
I know John from European Kitchen and Bath. He used to have that old Chevy. That thing got about 1 mile to the gallon.
I think gallons
not
to the
kidding.
mile.
Yeah. But he was in my shop every month. In fact, he was paying me so much money. I was making my mortgage payment off of his
Yeah.
his repair bill.
Yeah.
That's what he told me.
Yeah.
He was spending a geezer a month on that sucker.
Okay. So let's we got a few minutes here. Let's talk for the next 10 minutes about the
You want to do the recall?
the direct injection do you want to
Oh,
finish?
actually, let's do this recall.
Okay.
Let's
talk
do the
about-
recall. We're going to do.
Right.
We always have all kinds of tricks that we can pull out of a hat to talk about, but this is an important.
Yeah.
And it's, I guess it'd be titled, "It's Not As It Seems."
Yes. The Ford recalls are.
This is not as it seems. Okay.
No. Yes.
So we have a customer who owns a Ford Fiesta,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 4-door and 2015. And this customer received from Ford, and it's on official paper. It almost looks like title. You know, it's substantial.
Oh yeah. It's a heavy bond paper.
Heavy
Yeah.
bond paper,
Right.
addressed to the owner.
Mm,
And they're calling it Customer Satisfaction Program 24 N as in Nancy 07. And I'm going to read what it's for, and then I'm going to read 2 other paragraphs, and then I think we'll be able to make some inferences.
zero in on. Yeah.
Zero in on what
Mm.
I think is a problem.
Okay.
Although your vehicle's canister purge valve is likely functioning properly today, well, how do they know that?
Likely.
There's a lot of
I-
legalese in here.
I think Let Us Pray should follow that.
I think this had to get signed off by the lawyers. We are pleased to let you know that for peace of mind, Ford Motor Company is providing a one-time repair of the canister purge valve if,
Mm.
this is
Mhm.
important here, if it requires replacement in the future. So it's a double future. It's like
Yes.
if is the future tense, and then in the future at the end, they clarified it even more.
Right.
Pretty specific.
Right.
In the future, you can use this program.
There's 2 other qualifiers too. You have to be under 100,000 miles, and it
Okay.
has to be less than 10 years old.
Yeah, here it is. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So we're scanning and reading.
Oh yeah, from your 15 years from your vehicle's warranty start date.
So yeah, but
So-
yes, okay.
The time needed for this repair is less than a half a day. However, due to service scheduling requirements, your dealer may need your vehicle for a longer period of time and will need your credit card for a $300. No, isn't there a fee? Didn't you look? We've done a little research, and
Yes.
they want a fee for them to check it.
So you need to leave the car with them, and then they will test drive it to validate whether or not the service work is actually warranted or required.
But you're on the hook though for upfront money.
Yes. So after they do it, then they make the determination that yes, it could probably benefit from the use of changing that part, or it's still adequate and it's not necessary.
What's the criteria they're using to judge this?
Those 3 things that you read earlier that said that it was stuttering, stalling, and a few other.
Okay, so here's the very end. Here again,
Mhm,
more.
mhm.
Please keep this letter as a reminder of the
Mhm.
repair program.
Mm-hmm.
If the CPV, which is canister purge valve, it's an acronym, requires replacement, and your vehicle is within the indicated time limitations of this offer, it's an offer now,
Right.
you may provide the dealer with the VIN of your vehicle. If you schedule this, I keep talking about scheduling the service,
Right. Oh,
event,
yeah.
which means you've got to put money up front
Right.
for the Customer Satisfaction Program 24N07.
So yeah.
So what?
So there's
This is pie in the sky.
you are on the hook. The short stroke here is you're on the hook for the analysis and the study. And if the study leans towards changing the part, great, they'll pick up that expense. Otherwise, you're on the hook for that expense, and they will send you
Now,
on
if
your
they
way.
if they send you on your way, can you hold this letter and then use it again if it happens within that period, or is it once you've had it checked, you're done?
I think you're one and done.
Oh, that's not right. How do you know when it's going to break?
it's a
Something is a
it's-
catch-22, isn't it?
It is like, how do you know? So you just spin
Well,
them-
I don't like the fact that there's a requirement of a deposit,
Well, it's a requirement of a fee.
a checkout charge.
You actually have to pay a fee
It's
unless
cheaper just to go buy the parts. So we just go buy the part and I'll put it on. When it comes
Right.
down to the economy of it,
right.
it's cheaper just to
What
go
do you
buy
th-
the part at the parts counter and come over to Crown Car Care and we'll put it on.
I wonder while we go to commercial break, which is be in a couple of minutes.
Look it up. It's about $80
Okay. Is that
plus
what it
labor,
is?
but
Okay.
it's
all right.
you'd be better off to buy the part.
Yeah. and then put it in and
Put
call
it in, but that's not fair because they
No.
said they have a problem. Why don't they just give you the part? They won't. $300 and
Yeah.
schedule an appointment for half a day.
Right.
But how do you know what's happening once it's there?
So how many customers do you think, this is what begs the question, that go along their merry way, not realizing that those parts are over the counter? They're still OEM parts that you
Yes.
can still buy.
Yeah.
And OEM, of course, stands for original factory materials. So, you know, a lot of customers don't realize. They think, well, they're obligated to go to the dealership.
No.
Yeah.
No, I know. I agree.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I'd like to ask our listening audience.
Mhm.
We have a very
Ast-
sophisticated, astute
Yes.
listening audience. What's
Yes.
your opinion and take on this?
Yeah.
You can call us next week or give us a call and tell us what you think about this.
Right.
Maybe we're off base. Maybe we're looking into this the wrong way. I don't know. It appears to me, though, that this is something doesn't smell right.
Yeah. It doesn't.
Doesn't smell right.
It
I
doesn't.
remember the same customer, Frank, had a fuel tank recall. And I believe we ran into a similar situation
Yes.
where they don't, they admit that the part's bad,
Right.
but they won't give it to you unless it's broken.
Correct.
And
I know. Yeah.
especially the safety. I mean, they say here it stalls, it'll stall out.
Yeah.
Hesitation.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What can go wrong?
Just put the part on there and you'd be done with it. I think this creates more bad blood than it does good blood.
Right. Right.
I don't know. And they're like, pleased to announce. I mean,
Yes.
It's like, bring the trumpets out. King Ford is ready to announce. So let's take a break and we'll come back.
All right.
And
And
very good.
And then we're going to do analysis of from a previous show.
Click and clack.
Yes. So stick
Right.
with us. We'll be right back. Yes, exactly. All right, we're back. Kind of, sort of. So, so we are going to play a little bit.
Click and clack.
Yes, a little
Sure.
segment. And this aired some years back. And so we're going to give a listen to see how that is. Here we go. Maybe.
Answer.
I have a feeling we've spoken before.
No, we almost did though.
Oh,
We
yeah?
almost did. That's why your voice is familiar.
Okay, okay.
What's up, Edwin?
I have a 93 Lincoln Town car.
Oh,
And very recently, I'm driving along, say, about 30, 35 miles an hour, and it sounds as if I'm about to change gears. I got like you're rolling over one of those side roads when you're going off the side road on the highway.
Right. Where they put the corrugations in the road.
Right. And you're running over that. And I took it into the dealer, and the dealer said, I know what your problem is. Your problem is that you need to change your transmission fluid.
Mhm.
I did that.
Okay.
The noise is still there.
so you're driving along at 30, 35 miles an hour on a
Right.
nice, quiet little side street somewhere,
Right?
and all of a sudden you hear brrr,
Right.
just like one time, brrr,
Yeah, it doesn't happen a whole lot of times then.
and then
it
it goes
does-
away, and then it comes back,
Right. And again, it goes back when
and it
you
lasts about that long. Brrr.
Right.
No idea.
Well,
No idea?
I have an idea.
no idea?
Give us a break, will you?
Stop the car.
Come on. Give us a break here.
Well, he has no idea. I admit I have a lousy idea, but it's I think what's happening is my brother's gonna like this too.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll ask you a question first,
Okay.
and your answer may determine whether or not I abandon ship.
Okay.
This happens when the car reaches this 35 mile an hour speed.
Right.
In other words, it's never at 55 and it's never at 25. That true?
It's never at 25. It has happened sometimes at about 50, 55, maybe, but very seldom.
Oh.
Get my life jacket.
Don't tell me I'm going to need a new car.
Well, here's what I think it is, and
Go ahead.
I'm going to try to talk Edwin into it because
Okay.
he sounds like the kind of guy.
If it doesn't cost me the money, I'll
Well,
leave.
it may not. I have a solution for that too.
Okay.
Okay. go
Your
ahead.
transmission has a device called a lock-up torque converter.
Okay.
Which locks up the converter when you get to about 35 miles an hour so that it behaves like one solid unit instead of the fluid coupling that it is. In other words, a torque converter is responsible for transmitting the power from the engine to the transmission,
Okay.
and it allows slippage so that you can come to a stop and leave the thing in gear.
Mm-hmm.
I believe yours is not fully engaging, and that's why it's most likely to happen. I hear the groan.
Hello. Yes. I'm trying to record my show. Okay. Okay, good. All right, thank you. All right. All right. All right, thanks. Bye. Okay, so, all right. So we were listening to,
A 1993 Lincoln,
right.
and customer said that he changed his fluid
Right.
at the recommendation of the dealer,
Right.
and it didn't fix it.
Right.
I would. It all is
So,
logical.
so that noise, what does that signify?
Okay, so let's just start. It's a 93.
Right.
Okay, so that means it's in 1996 is when all of the big advancements changed in engine management and transmission
Right.
and ABS. So this is a 93. So it's an OBD1, but right before they
Okay.
transitioned to OBD2. So it in the transmission,
Mm.
we have automatic transmissions. We have manual transmissions. We have other types too, like CVT transmissions and dual clutch, but we're not going to talk about that. There's manual transmissions and automatic transmissions. In this Lincoln, it's an automatic, which means when you come to a stop, you just keep your foot on the brake, and the engine does not stall, and it stays in gear. And then when you give it gas, you drive away.
Right.
Okay. There's a viscous liquid coupler connecting the engine to the transmission, and it's called a torque converter.
So that gives you a smooth transition, right, between gears.
Take two fans, maybe a oscillating fan that you'd have in your bathroom.
Right.
Okay. Take two of them and aim them at each other.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's going on inside the torque converter.
One
half of the torque converter is one part's connected to the engine, and that's spinning the fan blade, which is slinging fluid onto the other fan blade, causing it to spin. So it's a liquid coupler. Okay, that's how an automatic transmission works. So when you come to a stop, it doesn't stall the engine because the load is taken up by the liquid between the two fan blades. I'm making it simple, but that's the way it works.
Wow.
Now, a manual transmission, on the other hand, once you shift into a gear, it is a one-to-one connection between the engine and the rear wheels.
Right.
There's no coupler. There's a clutch, but it's connected.
Right.
So if you come to a stop in a manual transmission car, it's going to stall out unless you push in the clutch.
Correct.
Okay. But it's connected all the way through. So automatic transmissions have been around since the 50s. I believe one of the first ones was B&M came out with their automatic transmission, and Ford took that and used it for their FMX transmission, one of their first ones. And as you know, GM had the Power Glide, which was a 2-speed tranny. All function the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But they didn't have overdrive.
That's correct.
Okay. Overdrive means that the engine is going slower than the car is. So you're not racing the engine to do 70 miles an hour on the interstate, because you're going to burn all your gas up, and it's not good for the car.
Right.
So they came up with overdrive,
Right.
which is usually 4th or 5th or 6th gear,
Right.
which means your engine is now lower RPM.
Right.
Now, to get better fuel mileage,
Right.
because we know we have a liquid coupler
Mhm.
inside that donut that we call the torque converter that has the two fan blades in it that
Mhm.
spin fluid against each other.
Mhm.
There is a round circumference. It looks like have you ever seen people play like frisbee golf, and it's a ring, not a full frisbee?
Right.
There's a ring the size of a frisbee ring
Okay.
that's clutch material on either side of the pancake that makes the torque converter. It's like half a bagel and another bagel, half a bagel, and then sandwich them together. And It's a full bagel. That's what it looks like.
Okay.
Where those two bagels touch, there's a round, round
Plate?
1 inch fibrous disc
Okay.
on both sides that is a clutch.
Okay.
And the way that clutch engages and disengages is there is, in the input shaft of the transmission, it's hollow, and it uses high pressure transmission fluid to either balloon or not to balloon and blow out the torque converter. When it's not blown out, the clutch is engaged. When it is, you got fluid, it kind of balloons out. It's like inflating an inner tube, it fills up and stretches. Well, when it fills with fluid and stretches, the clutches are not engaged.
Mhm.
And it's for lockup. So what happens is when you're at 55 or 60 miles an hour, that torque converter is effectively locked in, just like a clutch would be in a manual transmission. Gets you better fuel mileage. You don't have that parasitic loss of energy, about 10%.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So that torque converter is what he's talking about.
Mhm.
It doesn't go on and off.
And that
It
makes
partially goes on and partially goes off, so it's smooth. Well, when you get the fibrous disc that I told you about that's inside that torque converter on each half of the fan blades,
it makes that noise.
it'll make that speed bump noise when it's engaging, because it's not fully engaged and it's not disengaged. It's like 25 to 30% engaged, and it's grabbing. It's grabby. It would be like you having shoes on that on a tile floor you slip, but when you're on a rug you grip.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's happening. It's gripping and then slipping. gripping, then slipping, and you're feeling it throughout the car.
Got it.
Okay. It'd be
So-
like you pushing the clutch in and out real fast
Mhm.
on a manual.
Right.
'Cause-
So what's the fix for that?
well, many times all it is the viscosity and the friction coefficient of friction of the actual fluid itself breaks down,
Mhm.
and it causes that chattering. If you continue to drive it with the fluid broken down, you will damage the disc inside the torque converter, requiring replacement of the torque converter.
So that's probably
That's why he's at the stages where he drove it probably too long, and now it requires a torque converter replacement. You always want to try the fluid because a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, it fixes it.
so he tried the fluid and it failed. So it's a bad torque converter.
Bad torque converter.
Got it.
Remember, on some of the things that we do,
And
on
that's true today as it was.
true,
Back,
100%.
right. Okay.
Just,
so it
just had
hasn't-
one the 2 days ago, or well, over the weekend. I had a GMC Yukon that had a misfire, and once the misfire was fixed, the customer was detecting what we're talking about,
Right.
but you didn't feel it because it had a misfire.
Mhm.
The misfire was masking the torque converter problem, so we changed the fluid over the weekend and it fixed it.
Nice.
Fluid change,
Nice.
but some fluids like $15 a quart.
Woo! And how many quarts does it take for the
12 usually 12 to 16. So it's an endeavor to experiment, but
so so you want to get rid of all the fluid. Now, if you open up the little
you'd have to take the cover off the torque converter and drain it, or you
Right.
hook up a machine
Uh,
that on the cooler lines that pumps out the bad fluid at the same time pumping in the new.
right,
So it's a total exchange.
right.
Okay.
So it's definitely a transmission, not the differential or nothing like that.
No, it's a very it goes across brand platforms.
Mhm. It's just
Remember, a torque converter is a torque converter.
right,
Doesn't matter who makes it.
right.
For the most part. I mean,
Right.
there's different types, but it's
right.
so
The basic function's the same.
Honda has that problem with them.
Yeah. Okay.
Honda, and it'll feel like a misfire on a Honda. A
Wow.
Honda, like a Accord,
Mhm.
say it's like a 10 or 12-year-old Accord, and you don't service your transmission fluid from a maintenance standpoint,
Right.
you're going to get into this problem. And this is what happens. If you don't maintain your fluids and maintain your car,
Mhm.
you are going to get into repairs that were avoidable.
Yes.
Avoidable.
Yeah.
And it's all it takes is maintenance and attention to detail and keeping track of it on your car. Well, Crown Car Care will keep track of it for you.
Right. Because you have that in your
Computer system.
Yeah.
Yep. We're gonna, but we recommend at Crown Car Care, if you go by the manufacturer's intervals, you're gonna have nothing but problems.
Mm.
It's too long.
Yeah.
Transmission fluid isn't meant to last 100,000 miles. Who are
No.
you kidding? Who
Yeah.
are you kidding?
Right.
It's just not happening.
Right.
That'd be like me say, "Hey, Frank, I got a pair of Nikes that last a lifetime. You want a pair? They're only $50. They never wear out."
Wow.
That's what they're saying. It's just not true.
Mm.
Transmission fluid and oils get acidic. They get water in them,
Wow.
right? They break down the coefficient, the friction modifiers inside break down, the anti-foaming qualities of oil break down. There is all types of degrading of the liquids and fluids in a vehicle that are happening at a much faster clip than quote unquote the manufacturer's service table.
Hmm.
First of all, we live in Florida, which is got a little bit of salt in the air and it's hot and humid.
Right.
Okay. So it's not like in Death Valley.
Right.
Do you remember that commercial with Cadillac, Death Valley? They ran it without coolant and
Oh
the
yeah.
North Star.
To see how long it would last. Yeah.
Yeah, the North Star.
Yeah.
It died a slow death. The North Star. It was a horrible motor.
Oof.
Horrible motor. Head gasket. The head bolts would pull out.
Sure.
The threads would pull out of the block and it would leak oil and blow head gaskets. And there was no way around it.
No.
It is what it is.
Oof. Yikes.
Yes, they used to put those in the two-door Cadillacs, the
Yeah,
four-door,
sure.
the North Star.
North Star. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Death Valley tested.
All right. Just a quick timeout, and we'll be right back. So stick with us. All right,
We're back.
Yes, just a quick regulation timeout, and we are back.
Back. I guess what
Yes.
we're talking about now is direct injection.
Okay.
And this
All
is
right.
ultimately it's going to lead to a maintenance service that I can provide at both my shops, or any shop can provide, as long as I have the equipment to do it. But let's talk about direct injection. What is it? What happens when direct injection is used on an engine? And what are some of the effects that the motor has, or consequences of using direct injection? Are there some bad side effects? And the answer is yes.
Okay.
But the good outweighs the bad. But
Good.
there is some things that we need to talk about.
All right.
Now, we got to have a grounding point where we start. Direct injection is the methodology that puts the fuel, the gasoline, we're talking about gas cars here, into the engine. Right?
All right.
How did the gasoline get into the engine in 1955?
Carburetor.
Carburetor.
Yes.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Rochester did have some experimental fuel-y injection systems on some of the early Corvettes. They called it a fuel-y.
Yes.
Remember a fuel-y?
Four-barrel.
Rochester was the company that made it.
Yes.
They make carburetors. Rochester is a division of General Motors.
Right. Not the guy that worked for Jack Benny. Not that Rochester.
Yeah.
Rochester.
Yes,
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So back in the 50s, it was a carburetor.
Mm-hmm.
In the 70s, for the most part, it was central fuel injection, CFI, which would be, think of a carburetor, exactly like a carburetor, does the same thing as a carburetor, but it's electronic.
Wow.
That's CFI. And then the next level of technological advancements was SEFI, sequential electronic fuel injection.
Sequential.
Okay. Same thing, fuel injection. We're calling this hybrid of it direct injection. The latest, the iteration before direct injection was SEFI, or sequential electronic fuel injection, which are small injectors that are located in the intake manifold, or in the head before the valves, before the intake valves.
At the top of the engine.
Okay, so just like a carburetor, the gas mixes with the air, and goes into the motor and gets used up and burned and exploded, and then goes out the exhaust.
Right.
But with the carburetor and the SEFI and the CFI, the three different types of introducing fuel, the fuel mixes with the air before the valves open.
Okay.
So and what is gasoline? Is a natural solvent. So what did the gasoline do as it was atomized with air going into each cylinder through the intake valve? Is that intake valve is getting gasoline vaporized passing by it, which cleanses it, keeps the carbon off. So one of the side effects of having fuel introduced into the intake manifold before the valve, intake valve, is it naturally cleans the valves. Okay. Been that way since the beginning of time with cars, up until direct injection. Direct injection takes the injection of the fuel one step further. It does not inject it into the intake manifold. It does not inject it into the head. It injects it into the combustion chamber. We have a phone call.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Oh, can I help you? Oh, hey, Tamara. Hey, so you're listening? Can you hear us okay? I can hear you. Okay, I'm going to put you on the air. All right, stand by. All right. All right.
We have a caller.
Yeah, go ahead, Tamara.
Oh, that's my wife's name.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe it's my wife.
Whoa. I'm not going to hang up on you, but if I do, call me right back. Yep. Okay. So I did hang up on her. Are you there? Whoops. Nope. Oh. Okay.
You want to dial it? So
yeah.
772.
Can I do that? Can I do it on this phone? Yeah, maybe.
932.
Oh, wait a minute.
1893.
All right.
Hello.
Hey, you're on the air.
Oh, hey.
So, and the purpose for your call is
Well, it's you're talking about some technical things. and
yes.
I just wanted to break it up a little bit.
Okay. All right.
Do you know why cars can't keep secrets?
Why?
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 Because they have too many leaks.
Too many leaks. Oh, I like it.
Oh.
So these are cars in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
Yes.
Under the Biden administration.
I gotcha.
Wow, that's funny.
that's my car joke. For
I
the day.
love it. That is an excellent one.
Yeah.
All right. I
Mhm.
like it. That tickles me. That's great.
Okay, go back to your technical.
Okay.
stuff.
All right. Thank you. All right. All right. That was good.
What I'm talking about with the direct injection is so important.
Yes.
So the gasoline on direct injection
Mm-hmm.
goes right into the combustion chamber of the piston area and the
Mhm.
spark plug.
Mm-hmm.
It does not go by the valves
Mhm.
like the previous carburetor, central fuel injection, or CEFI fuel injection.
Right.
So what's going to happen on the intake valves? Oil, dirt builds up and it gets bad. Bad to the point where it's big chunks of carbon and gook and waste byproducts of the combustion process, the blow-by gases through the PCV system are getting reburned and it
Mhm.
deposits on the intake valve, and there's no gasoline there to clean it. So what happens is you can
It
actually ruin the motor, you can
Yeah,
ruin
cakes it up.
camshafts,
Yeah.
you can get misfires, you get check engine lights. There is a service that we do that cleans the valves, the intake valves, and the intake. It's an induction service.
So you perform that on the Escape.
yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
what it does is it cleans the intake manifold and cleans the valves. I mean, it does a 90%. It's not perfect, but it's obviously
Yes.
there's time constraints, cost constraints. You do.
But it's
It's a very thorough.
but it's a noticeable improvement.
Well,
Yes.
noticeable from the driver's perspective, but the engine is smiling at that point once it's done, because now the valves can open and close properly.
Mm-hmm.
There's not all that plaque and buildup on the intake valves, stopping the efficient transfer of gas of air into the engine, because at that point, air is the only thing that goes into the intake valves on direct injection.
Nice.
The fuel is directly in the combustion chamber.
Right.
And if you don't service it, the consequences are just flat out bad.
Right.
Misfires, stalling conditions, ruining motors.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, GDI, which is also referred to with Volkswagen,
Mhm.
Volkswagens, Audis, Mercedes,
Mhm.
almost every car manufacturer uses direct injection.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's what some manufacturers do. Some products, Ford, I know, uses it. They also have a set of injectors in the intake manifold that at times fire fuel to keep the valves clean. And you have direct injection. So there's two sets of injectors for each cylinder.
Two.
One for the cleaning
Mm-hmm.
and two for the efficiency of the direct injection. But that's an anomaly. That's not the standard
Right.
practice. So you need to have these services done, and it needs to be done 35 to 45,000 miles. This service needs to be done. Your car will thank you.
Yes.
And it's not that expensive of a service. It's more than 200, less than 300.
Okay.
So there's
Money well spent.
money well spent.
A lot cheaper.
And-
What does it cost to replace a motor?
Oh, $10,000 to $15,000.
Okay.
Big money.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much does it cost to replace a vapor management valve on a Fiesta?
Yeah.
Cost you $300 to get it looked at.
Right. Yikes.
Well, this is a great show. Went
Yes.
fast.
Yes, it did. It always does because we have so much information to
We do.
share. And so stay tuned for next week. We'll have another quality show for you.
Sure.
Lots of information to share. Thanks again for listening.
Yep. Bye.